It's almost like y'all like each other. Like if I didn't say anything into this mic just now, you just keep on going. And it's a shame. I hate to interrupt. So, welcome. My name is John Flynn, and I'm the worship associate this morning, and part of the team that is working to bring this service to you wherever you may be. We are an inclusive congregation that welcomes you as you are, inclusive of all of your identities, complexities, and situations. We welcome your whole self, even if it isn't fully assembled, or assembled kind of haphazardly like myself, because we recognize that we are all a work in progress, and that we are all in this together. The service is being posted on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page so that folks can watch it again later. Feel free to share it with your friends. Now that I've got you all quiet and sitting and attentive, I'd like to ask that you please stand and reverse that and go back to what you were doing before. Please greet each other. Don't make me ring that bell again. And I've noticed there's at least three jingle jangly things down here, and I don't know if there's any convention to it, but I like to think it's dealer's choice, and it's just there so that we can express ourselves the way that we feel. So, while standing, we will recite these words, our opening affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, for these high purposes do we unite in worship. You may be seated. Now, bam, everyone's seated. I did not say Simon Says. Eric and I are the only ones left standing. So we will have a Simon Says showdown at the end of the service if you'd like to stay for that. So I will now light our chalice with these words. I was thinking about this as I was reading the Roman poet Ovid in preparation at 2 a.m. for this. And I will say, our chalice flame, left untended, could consume everything. So may it represent our own passions as we tend it with our fellowship. I don't have that technique down as well as Claudia, but I try my best. And now we'll have a story for all ages by Alan. Alan, would you come on up?
I'm not going to get tricked by that guy.
So Simon Says, Alan, could you please come up?
We're going to delve into a little Aesop wisdom, one of his little stories for our ages. And it's called The Bear and the Travelers. Fairweather friends were around in the days of Aesop. And in the 6th century BC, and they still abound today. Children should learn how to recognize one fair-weather friend and how not to be one. 2 travelers were on the road together when a bear suddenly appeared on the scene. Before he observed them, one of the travelers headed for a tree at the side of the road and climbed up into the branches and hid there. The other was not so nimble as his companion. And as he could not escape, he threw himself on the ground, prepared to be dead. The bear came up, sniffed all around him, but he kept perfectly still and held his breath. For they say that a bear will not touch a dead body. The bear took him for a corpse and went away. When the coast was clear, the traveler in the tree came down and asked the other what it was the bear had whispered to him when he put his mouth to his ear. The other replied, "He told me never again to travel with a friend who deserts you at the first sign of danger." Aesop's moral: misfortune tests the sincerity of friendship. And here's the best kind of friend to have. This Kipling poem, which reminds us that loyalty and reliability can sometimes be rare commodities, echoes Ecclesiastes 7:28 in the Bible. "One man in 1,000 have I found." 1 man in 1,000, Solomon says, will stick more close than a brother. And it's worthwhile seeking him half your days if you find him before the other. 999 depend on what the world sees in you, but the 1,000th man will stand your friend with the whole round world agin you. 'Tis neither promise nor prayer nor show will settle the finding for 990 of 'em go by your looks or your acts or your glory. But if he finds you and you find him, the rest of the world don't matter. For the 1,000th man will sink or swim with you in any water. You can use his purse with no more talk than he uses yours for his spending, and laugh and meet in your daily walk as though there had been no spending. 999 of them call for silver and gold in their dealings, but the 1,000th man, he's worth them all, because you can show him your feelings. His wrongs, your wrongs. His rights, your rights. In season or out of season. Stand up and back it in all men's sight with that for your only reason. 999 can't bide the shame or mocking or laughing, but the 1,000th man will stand by your side to the gallows foot and after. I think that pretty good sign of empathetic friendship.
Thank you, Alan. Simon says you may be seated. At this time in our service, we recognize the joys and concerns of the community. Please come forward, state your name, and put a lighted candle in the sand bowl. Got two.
My name's Arana Hagan, and my joy today is that the bond election in Canyon passed. It only passed by 69, but we'll take it. If you're not aware of what that bond election was going to do, it was going to update our police and our fire to where they should be. But more importantly, we used to have to send our stray animals to Amarillo. And Amarillo a few months ago stopped taking them. So we had to come up with an animal control officer and an animal control program. And they've done it, and they've done the best they could, but those animals have been sitting in cages, and they like throw a tarp over them whenever something happens. So this will actually build an animal control center, which, if you don't care about the police and the fire, the animals are going to be taken care of. So that's my joy.
My name is Eric Gonzalez, and I have, I guess, a sorrow and a joy. So I'll start with the sorrow. The sorrow is that for family medical reasons, I'm going to be moving. So I'll be, come June, in Colorado Springs. However, my joy is that I've been here, been able to meet a lot of great people, get connected with a lot of people here and in other parts of Amarillo. And I'll still be coming back very frequently. My mother and other family are still here, and I still have work I need to do here in Amarillo and the Panhandle as a whole. So you'll still see me around. So I promise to drop in whenever I'm here on a Sunday.
So I have a joy. C3 is still around. Yay! This crazy woman over here and her name is Cindy also. We worked with a third Cindy in a clinic of 6 employees. So I was C1, C2 has moved away, and this is C3.
I'm Claudia, and I have a joy and another sadness. Eric Dennis, who spoke to us about a month or so ago, who was a teacher at Travis Junior High, and gave such a heartwarming talk about his devotion to teaching and his students. It was announced this week he was named the Teacher of the Year. So I'm real happy for him. I think he deserved it. Every week I have to speak about another death. My very good friend, Caroline Chamblin, died 3 or 4 months ago, and her husband died this past week. And he kept calling and saying he couldn't live without her, and he didn't. So please keep me and his family in your thoughts.
I'll light one final candle for all the joys and concerns not shared today, but still felt deeply in our hearts. And now we'll have some worship music. The Ballad of Mary Magdalene. Eric Berg and Kathy Fuller. Christy Fuller, I'm sorry.
Test. Ooh, that's too hot. Test. Test. Test.
Check.
It was too loud.
Round and round goes the mic. It's probably going to work. I'm really happy to have Christy Fuller with me today. Special treat for me and for you too. When Chuck told me the title of his and the topic of his talk today, I didn't understand it. And so I believe this song, if nothing else, is topical, timely, because of the season we were in. Boy, this is a floppy mic stand. This is a story of Mary Magdalene's relationship with Jesus from her viewpoint. My name is Mary Magdalene. I come from Palestine. Please excuse these rags I'm in. I'm falling on hard times. Long ago, I had my work when I was in my prime. I gave it up and all for love. Was his career or mine? Jesus loved me, this I know. Why on earth did I ever let him go? He was always faithful, he was always kind, but he walked off with this heart of mine. And I remember nights we spent whispering our creed, our rituals, our sacrament. The stars are a canopy. There beneath an olive tree, we'd offer up our plea. God's creation, innocent, his arms surrounding me. Jesus loved me, this I know. Why on earth did I ever let him go? He was always faithful, he was always kind, but he walked off with this heart of mine. A love like this will come but once. This I do believe. And I'll not see his likes again as I live and breathe. I'm sorry if I might offend, but I will never see how the tenderness I shared with him became a heresy. Jesus loved me, this I know. Why on earth did I ever let him go? He was always faithful, he was always kind, but he walked off with this heart of mine. He was always faithful, he was always kind, but he walked off with this heart of mine.
Indeed a treat. Thank you, Eric and Christy. And now Simon says Alan may stand and share a reading.
My reading from the prophet Khalil Gibran. It's a story about a teacher preparing to go home after 12 years with these village people that dearly loved him, felt he had a lot of wisdom to share. And so as he was ready to depart, they were asking him to share his final thoughts before he left them to go home. And this is some of the prose that introduces his many sharings or answers to questions. Yet this we ask ere you leave us, that you speak to us and give us of your truth. And we will give it unto our children, and they unto their children, and it shall not perish. In your aloneness you have watched with our days, and in our wakefulness, in your wakefulness, you have listened to the weeping and the laughter of our sleep. Now therefore disclose to us ourselves, and tell us all that has been shown you of that which is between birth and death. One of his sharings. And then a scholar said, speak of talking. And he answered, saying, you talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts. And when you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips. And sound is a diversion and a pastime. And in much of your talking, thinking is half murdered. And there are those who talk and without knowledge or forethought, which they themselves do not understand. In much of your talking, there are those among you who seek the talkative through fear of being alone. The silence of aloneness reveals to their eyes their naked selves, and they would escape. And there are those who talk and without knowledge or forethought reveal a truth which they themselves do not understand. And there are those who have the truth within them, but they tell it not in words. In the bosom of such as these, the Spirit dwells in rhythmic silence. When you meet your friend on the roadside or in the marketplace, let the Spirit in you move your lips and direct your tongue. Let the voice within your voice speak to the ear of his ear. For his soul will keep the truth of your heart as the taste of the wine is remembered when the color is forgotten and the vessel is no more. I think that's at least a touch of what empathy looks like and feels like. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. As you started that, I felt a bit called out. And then we're going to invite Chuck up here to talk. And I just remind everyone that anytime we invite someone up here to talk, remember that many hours of research and contemplation and meditation and anxiety, second guessing, and then reworking the entire process and doing it all over again goes into 10, 15, or 20 minutes up here. So it's not just talking, is it, Chuck? So now we will have prayer and meditation, silence centering. And during this time, we will share a few moments of silence. As we relax into the silence, I was going to read something from the Roman poet Ovid, but it's long and we want to leave Chuck enough time. And really, I can just summarize it. Time, the devourer of all things. the great equalizer. Does what we do not matter simply because time will consume us? We will all return to the dust. So, think on it. Does it matter what we do? Thank you. Welcome back. I have the great pleasure of introducing the Reverend Dr. Chuck Fisher. Chuck, I asked him before we started, is it 50 years you've been serving your community in a ministerial capacity? He said, well, actually, we're like 60, over 60. And I said, should I say that? And he was like, sure, whatever, it's fine. So, for over 60 years, and that matters. It really does. And at the end, I'll explain why I believe that. So, the Reverend Dr. Chuck Fisher, having served his community for over 60 years in a ministerial capacity, a retired Disciples of Christ minister, also helped to found Chalice Abbey, as a means to promote fair trade retail practices in the Texas Panhandle, as well as somewhere where folks can go for spiritual contemplation. And is that where you also do the unsanctioned bare knuckle boxing? Is that okay? So that as well, and that's somewhere else. Yeah. Okay, that's somewhere else. Never mind. Sorry, I got confused. So Chuck, please, Simon says, come up and share with us why you pity the fool.
Well, socially and politically, the last 10 years have been, mildly put, a nightmare. A bloated, malevolent, moral wreck of a man has intruded on our public consciousness like the stench of Hereford stockyards following a rainstorm. Is that accurate? Yeah. Well, I think so. But here's the thing. He's not the problem. He's not the problem. Not really. We don't have to deal with him. We don't have to deal with him. We do, however, have to deal with those who support him. And sometimes, sadly, their family. What are we going to do? A recent Facebook post by Keith, who is a minister acquaintance of mine for 25 years or more. Well, Keith wrote on his Facebook page, 100 days of 47, Social Security and Medicare payments right on time, haven't lost any rights or freedoms, fuel prices lower, Edward Jones' account increasing, credit union savings increasing, work busier than ever. I should point out that was kind of strange, work busier than ever. Keith is a hospice chaplain. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that found that a little odd. Whatever. Well, he goes on, ordering groceries for pickup. Perhaps it's time to wear a blue suit. Yeah, I was tempted. I was tempted to reply. But then I read his next post, and it was on Earth Day, and he says, Happy Creation Day, year 4977 BCE, according to Kepler. Now, what's the point? What's the point in responding to someone who thinks like that? I can tell you, I didn't reply. I can tell you what I thought. Old blues song, Bobby Blue Bland, confronting a former girlfriend, sings, I pity the fool. I pity the fool. I said, I pity the fool that falls in love with you. I didn't say it, but I thought, I pity the fool. Now, maintaining my nice guy persona, I mean pity in the best understanding of what pity is. Over the years, it's taken on a derogatory sense. So you have a connotation of it being something bad. That's just pitiful. But it really means, pity means compassion for suffering. So what I'm really saying when I say to Keith, I pity the fool, I'm really saying, Keith, you're going to suffer for that. Pity. Now, as you may surmise, Keith is a Christian fundamentalist. And in the past, I would have just write that off. That kind of earth is 6,000-year-old thinking. That's harmless nonsense, I'd say. Except that through the years, what I have found that on a deeper level, such thinking, the way that Christian fundamentalism can go, is anything but harmless. Example. My favorite rabbi, Ronnie Shapiro, was visiting Europe. And he describes an encounter. He says, from Krakow, I took a plane to Auschwitz, which was not lost on me in terms of irony. Upon my arrival, I was greeted by a Catholic priest who ran an interfaith center in town. After lunch at his center, the priest drove me to Auschwitz-Birkenau, the concentration camp and crematoria, where I received a private tour. When the tour ended, the priest drove me to the train station to catch a train to Warsaw. As we drove, he explained to me that every time he visits Auschwitz-Birkenau, his faith in God is strengthened. I asked him, how does the murder of millions of Jews enhance your faith in God? And the priest replied, God spared a remnant of the Jewish people during the Holocaust, just as he promised, he said. And he quoted from the prophet Isaiah, I will preserve a remnant of the people of Israel and of Judah to possess my land. Those I choose will inherit it, and my servants will live there. God kept his promise, the priest said. He saved a remnant of your people to possess the state of Israel. He kept his promise to your people. He will keep his promise to mine. Jesus will return and take us to be with him in heaven. You disagree? And Rami replied, I have no opinion on the return of Jesus, but I, like many Jews, find the word Holocaust completely inappropriate. As you know, it comes from the Greek holocauston, which means a burnt offering to God. Any God, Rami says, any God who demands a burnt offering of millions of Jews so a remnant may possess a land already occupied by millions of Palestinians is a monster worthy of derision, not worship. The Hebrew prophets abandoned this God millennia ago and instead embraced one who demanded that justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Shoah, Hebrew for catastrophe, is a more appropriate term. And Rabbi concluded saying, Auschwitz-Birkenau shatters my faith in your God rather than strengthens it. And Rami concluded by saying, we sat in silence for some time. When we finally spoke, we discussed less inflammatory topics. I'm with Rami. However, there are many people who would agree with the priest, especially the Christian fundamentalists. They do go along with a God who allows a burnt offering of millions of Jews as a remnant may possess the land, so that a remnant may possess the land. Their God is one of threat and retribution, an angry, judging, and punishing God. They do believe that God worthy of worship. They're stuck. They're stuck in a low state of spiritual development. What are you going to do? Sometimes they're family. Well, from long experience, this I know. I'm not going to argue them out of it. Very smart people can believe very dumb things, very evil things. It's not a matter of intelligence. It's not a matter of information. It's otherwise. And for me, this was an evolving realization. Lacrimae Rerum, with the second part of our title here. It's a phrase from, today must be the day for Roman poets, because this is from Virgil. It's a phrase from an ancient Roman poem meaning there are tears at the heart of things. There are tears at the heart of things. There are tears at the heart of our human experience. At some point in life, we can come to realize that there is an inherent sadness in our relationships, our mistakes, our failures, large and small, even a sadness in our wins. And we come to feel this. We know this reality, especially when we acknowledge our own mistakes and our own failures in relationships. We know that we cannot always fix things or change them. It's the way of tears. And when we come from that position, from understanding that, from feeling that way of tears, we react with a state of empathy with and for things and people and events. It's the opposite of judgmentalism. The modern mystic and social activist Richard Rohr went so far as to say, only the way of tears can move us beyond our deserved but paralyzing anger at evil and injustice without losing the deep legitimacy of that anger. An example, and again from Rabbi Rami. He concluded his description of that event at Auschwitz-Birkenau. He was writing just before Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust Remembrance Day. And he said, it isn't just a day to remember what happened to Jews physically at the hands of the Nazis and their collaborators, but also to reflect on how, as Jews and human beings, we are called to be a blessing to all the families of the earth, to serve and to protect the earth, and to understand how the trauma of the catastrophe has affected us psychologically and spiritually, making the fulfillment of our mission all the more necessary and all the more difficult. Rami was talking about the way of tears. What are we going to do? Pity the fools. React with empathy, the way of tears. React that way over judgmentalism. But I think most importantly, let us be among those who choose to be among those who are a blessing to the families of the earth. What are we going to do? I think that is our best response.
Thank you, Chuck. What are we going to do? We are going to give money to this church right now. Now is the time for giving and receiving of our offering. May we give this offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. Such a peaceful time of giving while John works furiously to bring up our normal little jingle. We've got 2 potlucks in a row, folks. Don't want anybody that brought food today to feel disappointed. We're doing it today. I don't think we are actually doing it next week also. Are we doing? No, just this week. Okay, so today. Just leftovers next week. But you'll have to go to somebody's house because they'll be there. Today there will be a potluck. Please join us for our potluck. There is plenty of food. I brought an enormous pot of chili beans. There is enough for everyone. Do not worry at all if you didn't bring something. We would love to have you join us for our potluck. We have some pretty regular events. Amarillo Free Thought Society, second and fourth Sunday at 2 p.m. Adult Religious Education every Sunday at 10. Book Club, fourth Tuesday of each month. Beyond Belief Secular AA Recovery Group every Saturday at 6 p.m. Existential Exclamations, our philosophy group, meets first and third Sunday at 3:30. The Knowledge Seekers meet every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here in Chandler Hall. Nothing Much Buddhist group, Monday at 7:30 on Zoom, the longest running. Would we call it a covenant group? We'll call it a covenant group. And we should add more because I think I could talk faster. Today's Existential Exclamations is King Science, and surely it is. We have some upcoming services, and if you're not signed up for the newsletter, you should sign up for the newsletter because these are in there. And which ones are reversed, Claudia?
It'll be Harris and Burkett rather than Sherry Freeman on the 18th.
Okay, so they're not sharing the 18th? It's all right. Yeah, so it looks like Harrison will be on the 18th, and then Sherry will be the week following, is that right?
She'll be the first week in June, I believe.
Okay. Again, sign up for our newsletter where we have sussed out all of the details and we no longer need to rely on this. And this says something, but don't pay attention to that because I'm going to tell you why it matters what you do before you do that thing. So why does it matter what you do? Because we do all return to the dust. And I encourage you to think that way. No matter what I do, I can't change anything, and even if I could, what does it matter? I'm going to be dirt. I encourage you to continue thinking that way if you place no value on any life on this earth other than your own. Because it would be ridiculous to think that what we do has no impact on any other life. It certainly does. And I don't think that everyone you've ever met or had an impact on will die before you or right at the same time that you do. Certainly some of them will live on. So it does matter what you do, because the things that you do in this world, on this mortal plane, will affect those people, and they will carry it on. If you do good for 60 years or more, serving as a minister for your community, you will certainly have a great impact far beyond the number of people that sit in the rooms that you're speaking to. Maybe we could all be a bit more like that. Please stand in body or spirit for our closing music, Spirit of Life. I will extinguish our chalice, as I should have before, while we say our closing words.